Hey, welcome back to Web Squadron. Who hasn't heard about email marketing? It's one of the core things that you should be thinking about when you set up a website. Subscriptions, maybe a way of sharing newsletters, freebies, or just a way of marketing in a good, decent way. Don't do lots of spam and junk and stuff like that. But how do we do that? We could use Elementor forms and we could connect it to services like MailChimp, MailerLite, and other ones. Or we could use MailChimp and MailerLite specifically and create a form that we add to our website. Now, I want to make clear, we are not affiliated with MailerLite, which is what we're going to be looking at today, okay? There's going to be no links for purchasing it in our description. You want it, go and do a Google search and you'll find it. But why are we showing you MailerLite? Well, we found it quite intuitive in how it works, and it allows us to stick some embedded forms onto our Elementor WordPress website, whereby we can collect details or get your permission to send you freebies or other information for later on marketing purposes. I mean, I don't need to go into email marketing. It's pretty obvious, right? But we're going to be focusing on MailerLite. So MailerLite.com, optimize your email marketing. What you do is you can sign up for free on this. So when you sign up, obviously, you will put in your details. Once you've done this bit, you will have to put in a few more details, but it takes about 2 minutes, to be honest, to fill it in. It's not asking for anything, major really. Bear in mind though that this is what I'm using is the forever free plan, okay, which does give me access to some premium features, but I'm not fussed about those at the moment. I can have up to 1,000 subscriptions. I can send up to 12,000 emails per month. So bear that in mind. That isn't like one email to 1,000 people. Well, it is one email to 1,000 people. If I send 12 emails a month and I've got 1,000 subscribers, 12 times 1,000 is 12,000. So bear that in mind, okay? It doesn't mean you can send 12,000 emails each per 1,000. No, that wouldn't make sense, okay? And you can upgrade at any time as well if you were to use MailerLite free. The pricing though is, this is where everyone goes, whoa, I don't want to pay that amount of money. But depending on how many subscriptions you've got and how many emails you want to send, unlimited, with still the 1,000 crunch point, it's about $10 a month. UK, add on your VAT and taxes and everything like that. If you got 5,000 plus subscribers, it's going to cost you £50 a month. And you might say $50, sorry. But you got to bear that in mind and look at, well, what are you achieving? And if you're finding that you're getting a lot of conversion based on your email marketing, $50 a month, that's that's not difficult to do, but it's up to you. Right, what we're going to do is we are now going to just go over to my test site I've created here, whereby we're going to create an embedded form. What is an embedded form? Well, it's basically on Elementor. We're going to have our page and we will have a form on the page. It's no different to Elementor forms really, in terms of how you're going to start to construct it. But what it means is, as you will see on our Web Squadron website, if you go to the freebies page or you click the button, it takes you to a page with a few details, and then there is a nice little form there. And the form is saying, put in your details, click a few boxes, and then a sequence starts whereby you are then taken to like a thank you page or something, and eventually you'll get an email as well with other information. Okay, we're going to kind of show you how to create that and add it to your Elementor website. Right, so we're going to go over to forms. And we are going to create an embedded form. Now, when you go to forms, the very first thing it's going to show you is pop-up. If you want to create a pop-up form, you can do, but you might as well create an embedded form, and then you can convert it into a pop-up later on. So just go with the embedded form. So the first thing we're going to do is click Create Embedded Form. There is a little bit of a drop-down arrow here. Again, it kind of repeats Create Pop-up or Create Promotion. We're just going to do Embedded Form, okay? We click that. We're going to give it a form name, okay? We're going to call it Test Form, because I'm not very imaginative. I'm a very boring person. Save and continue. Go jing. And now what it's saying is I can now attach this form to a subscription group. Like I said, you might have different campaigns. Now, we could create a new group, so I could go up to subscribers and I could add a new group, or I could just add it to my test group here. And I'm just going to add it to this one at the moment, okay? So test for our test group. Okay, save and continue. And then, lo and behold, we are now in the kingdom of the form. That was me putting on my Marvel voice. My marvelous Marvel voice. Rubbish. Right, okay. So we're now going to create our form. Okay, now it's only got one field, email at the moment, and a subscribe. It's got newsletter and a subheader there as well. In the design settings bit on the right hand side, you get to modify and change how it looks. So the background color, we may decide actually we don't want it to be that color and we want it to be a, well, this is where you can actually change it. Sorry, it's not the background of the form, it's the background behind the form. Okay, so you could leave it white, you could change the color, you could do, you know, whatever you want over there. You could also add in an image as well. So let's just click this and add an image in. So we'll upload an image. So I've just added in a very basic image, and I'm now just going to click that and select it, and that will now be on our background. I'm going to remove it because I just wanted to show you how that works. You can add a color, you can add an image. It's all down to your branding and what you want to say. Okay, there. Cool. We'll just save that and leave that as is. For the actual form, again, you can set the color of the background of the actual form. So I'm just going to leave that as a white color. Again, modify that, set you as you want. But let's just put it back as a grey color because we do want to make it just stand out a little bit when it is actually in Elementor. Right, okay, cool. In terms of the layout, let's just move myself to over here. This is where you can decide on, like, is it going to be the full width of the screen? Is it only going to be a default size? Well, a boxed width in Elementor terms. And do we want to make it a bit wider or a bit bigger in terms of its width? There we go, look. So we can start to mess around with it there. We can start to increase or decrease the border or the padding, almost in a way. It's not the padding, it's the border, isn't it? Yeah, we'll leave that as 0. Let me just put that back again. There we go. Just put it back down there. Down to 0. Border radius. This is one of my favorites ones. You know, so if you want to give it a bit more of a curved background, you know, you might want to go for 20, 25 if you want to curve it a bit more. Again, totally up to you. Form alignment. Well, you know, this is where you can start to mess around. This doesn't seem to work all the time, by the way. So I don't really bother with it. And I'm going to dictate where it goes on the Elementor page anyway. So don't worry too much about the form alignment. We're going to hit save. Here's now where you get to start to modify the headings. So the color of the heading, I'm not going to do it, but look, the heading of the color, do you want to make it a bold or a normal? You know, how do you want it to be aligned? Let's just put it in the middle for here. Change the font type to Homer, Arial, Helvetica, whatever you want. You go for that. And again, you know, the color as well. So you could change the color of the form as well. The header, sorry. Same with the text. I'm not going to do it, but look, same thing. Font size, colors, link colors. So if you are going to have some links items in here, we might want to change the color. So let's just do that now so that when we do get to it, you'll see the link. Let's make it a purple color. Let's make it a slightly, no, we'll go, yeah, let's go for a green color, so, or like that. So it just really stands out. Okay, cool. Right, and we're just going to save that again as well. Now, the form elements, okay? Again, you can start to decide on when you have checkboxes or labels or anything like that on your form. Do you want to stylize them a little bit differently? I probably wouldn't, but if you want to, go ahead and do that. And the button, the call to action, what color is that going to be? Let's just make it a red color. There we go. And when you hover over it, it's going to go, let's go for this one here, so it matches the link button. And again, remember, you can change quite a lot of things on here. The font size, the weighting, the radius of the button. Let's just do it here. It's a bit weird because when you hit return on here, like, and you've typed in a number, it doesn't change, so you've actually got to manually do it. So you are going to get a bit of finger strains. There you go. I've made the button a bit more rounded. And look, you hover over it, you get the green color. I mean, that's pretty self-explanatory, right? I hope so anyway. Right, okay. Now what we can do, though, is change. So I've just quickly done into the styling of the button, okay? What we can also do is edit it. So I could delete and get rid of that header completely so it's not there, because I don't want it. I just want it because I'll have another header somewhere else on the page that might say subscribe. So I don't need to repeat it. That's up to you. You can also go in and edit it. So I might say newsletter form. You know, you might want to, beneath it in the subheader, this is where you might now say, hey, hello, or whatever you want to do. You might want to just copy that, for instance, and create a link. So I might say insert link. So I've gone in now and I'm just going to insert a link like so. Let's just move myself out of the way. There we go. Insert that. There we go. So now we have the link. And remember, I set the color over here, link color. So that's now, you can clearly see the link color over here, which is going to go to our website. When you click it, has got the green color. So you are going to modify and style it accordingly. You can also modify the fields. So let's just go to the subscribe button. I can say subscribe. Yay. Okay. Let's just save that. We can also go to the forms as well. So at the moment we have the email form. Okay. What we can do is click add field and we can have name. So full name, is it going to be an input field? Is it going to be a text area, so free text that they can put in? Is it a drop down, a radio button, etc.? So let me just add in another field. Okay, we're going to edit this one, and we're going to just we'll just leave it as a name field, whatever, and we're going to label this as are you happy? Okay, the input will be a let's go for a radio button, and we're going to say option 1 is yes. Option 1 is 2 is no. Option 3, who are you? And hit save. Okay, so I'm just showing you how there are ways that you can add in lots of fields. So you could have a checkbox, which is your tick box. You could have radio buttons like I've got here. You could even have a select box, so you could have options already there. So you might say something like, I don't know, what is your budget? And you might have under 10,000, under or up to 50,000, you know, things like that. So you have the options predetermined, and they have to then pick one if you don't want to take up too much space with too many. You know, you might have 20 options. You don't want a form with 20 radio buttons. So a select box could work for you just as well. So this is a very, very basic form at the moment, okay? You know, it's not doing anything fantastic, but you get the idea. It is a form. Again, remember, you could set a text area. So let me just go back into it here, because I think just to show you, though, you could add in another, save that, you could add in another field, and we're just going to edit it, and this field is going to be a text area. Okay, and we're going to call it comments. There we go, save changes, and save that. So you could use it to add a comment section in, any further information, maybe someone's ticked a box that says something like, have you had an accident in the last 5 years? And they click yes. And then underneath you put a box that say, if yes, please give us a brief summary. So useful information for you if you want to use it. Okay, right. Let's now go over to the settings button over here. Okay, we are, so this is now where you get to decide on extra additional fields that you want to show on your form. So we might have a privacy policy. So if you have got a policy already in place on your website somewhere, this is a good place to stick that in. You can edit it, by the way. Okay, so you could, in a way, put the link to the policy. So I could go over here and I could link it, insert link to the actual privacy policy on our website. So again, like terms and conditions. So if you're selling it and you've got this form and you say, please refer to our terms and conditions, just have a link there so they can read it there. And then you can modify, this is HTML here, basic, bold, all of these items. You can do what you want here. Okay, let's just save that. Confirmation checkbox. Opt in to receive news and updates. So if you want them to see that, and by the way, I am just going to go over here and just increase the size of this because it is just a tad bit small. Just going to go over here and just put these to about 18. I didn't do that, did I? There we go. Let's just make that 18. Okay. So I'm just saving it and showing you that you can modify the sizes as well. All right. So you opt in to receive news and items. How about marketing permission? So we're basically saying that we are going to be using this information, and it's like the tick box about email and customized online advertising. All of those items are there for you to pick. What about maybe you want them to decide on, maybe you've got various subscription groups. So we've already said this goes into the test group, and maybe we've got 4 more. Maybe we're going to have one like an Elementor training course. We might say, look, do you also want to be part of that group as well? They're allowed to pick where they go. Again, give them the option for that. The recapture form, pretty self-explanatory that, isn't it? Tell me how many traffic lights you can see. Well, they all look like traffic lights, and if I stare, that's a traffic light, and maybe that isn't. But I've never seen that one before. You know the idea. Those annoying images. And then we have custom success page. So if you don't set up a custom success page, okay, this is what they will see. This is the success page. They will see this, and you can modify this as well. So thank you, and I'm just going to put some random comments in there like this, like yes, 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 whatever. Okay, so that is what they will see when they filled it in. That's what they're going to see on the form. Or what I would recommend you do is, rather than having just a standard page, what you actually do is, after they've completed the form, you take them. So look, this bit here at the bottom appears after you do custom success page. You go over here to now take them to another page on your website. So there'll be another URL, and it might be freebies, thank you, whatever you want to call it. And when they get taken to that page, that's where they get a bit of a message, maybe a few images, maybe a video, you know, maybe even that's where you put the freebies, or maybe you give them the freebies after they get an email from you. It's up to you how you decide to do your sequencing or newsletters. But you could have a thank you page, which now gives them a coupon code or access to a secret product or a course, something, anything like that. And I think that's a good way to kind of keep them still engaged. Whereas when you just do a success message, yes, you can put text in, yes, you can add links, yes, you can add images, but you're better off taking them to another Elementor page where you can now style it and do a lot more with the page than just using that. Okay, cool. Right, so we're not going to add anything in at the moment, okay? In fact, we will do. Yes, we will do. So what we'll do is we'll just take our home page or our staging site page, and we'll just stick that in like that. Okay, cool. And we hit next. And once we've hit next, it will then start to load up and say, right, we've now created the form, and it's going to give us a bit of code. And these HTML codes are what you now add to your Elementor page. Right, so we have a preview that we can preview, double opt-in. That's up to you if you want to do that. I mean, I'm not fussed about that. We'll leave that there. But then what we have here is the link. If you share this link to anyone, when they open that link, they are going to see your form that we've just created. But what you really want to be doing is you want to be taking this JavaScript snippet. Now, it's very easy for you to go to HTML code and pick that up. You do not need that. Okay, you only need the JavaScript snippet. So let me explain, okay? This code here just has to be present on the page somewhere. You'll never see it because it's just an invisible bit of code, right? So let me just pick this up. Let me go to Elementor email, a fake page, okay? And I'm going to type in HTML. I'm going to pick this up. I'm just going to drop this form, and I'm just going to drop this code here, okay? And click update. It is not doing anything. It is just a fake bit of code, all right? It's not doing anything, all right? This section I've dropped it into. Let me just make it a box of about 600 pixels. There you go. Because, you know, I'm styling it now. I might have 4 or 5 columns, images, a video here and there. And then I got my form positioned somewhere. The form can be on your home page, your shop page. It can be anywhere you want, okay? Entirely up to you. Even on your checkout page, if you really want. No, don't do that, because you want them to buy. Don't do it on your checkout page. Okay, what we then do is we then do another HTML box, okay? And I'm going to pick this one up, and I'm just going to drop it below. Again, put it wherever you want, okay? It's entirely up to you. We go back over to our page. So this is the first HTML we added. Don't copy what I've got down here, by the way, because yours is going to be different for your login and your whatever form you created. What we then do is take this HTML over here, all right? We pick that up and we drop that into the second HTML I just added, like so. And it's not doing anything, because it won't until you've like updated and viewed it live. So let me just do that. Now, before we go to live, I just want to come back over here. You do have the option to do a pop-up as well. So what you can do is you can use this code if you want, so that what happens is you'll have like a button, okay? In fact, let me just copy that, okay? And let's just add in another HTML like so. Let's just add it in at the bottom there. And we'll just add this one in. There we go. Now, when you click that button, and obviously you're going to have to style it and things like that, this is where it will open the form. So if you want to have a link to open the form, you could do, But I would say you're better off just using Elementor pop-ups because you have a bit more control over what it does. So I'm not a massive fan of using that. So I'm just going to delete that like so. Okay, cool. Right, so what we then do is we click update, and now we are going to preview this page. There you go. So this is now us viewing the page. Can you see here? Okay, that HTML does not actually exist. Okay, the first one we added in, it's invisible, so don't bother about it. Okay, why have we got spacing? Well, that's just because of the standard 20 pixels that we're getting in for Elementor. Anyway, look, here's our form. We have a link that if you hover over it, I can see the address was just down there. Okay, we could enter in our details and whatever we want to name. Why have I got Imran Siddiq? It's Imran Siddiq. Yes. No, we'll just put some comments in. And I'm just going to say, yeah, opt in. And I'm not going to really pick anything else here. Now, what happens when I hit subscribe? It will now take me to that page. Because that's what I set the success page to be. So are we all right there? Are we getting that? So I've just used it and done an example. Now let's go back over to MailerLite. Right. So now we go to MailerLite. Okay. And we're now going to go to subscribers. And I now want to see is, I've just done it live, literally right now. What I'm doing, I have not paused the video. This is all live. Well, live at the time, but you're probably viewing it in like 500 years in the future. And you're just like, wow, this guy was amazing. Anyway, so what we have here is, let me just move myself to over here, is we now have, why can't I get rid of that? I hate it when that bar appears over me. Right, so what we have is I've just subscribed. Okay, nothing's been sent to me yet. I mean, this is important, by the way. So if I send 10 emails out, I will now see that I'd only clicked open on 2 of them, and maybe on 1 of them I actually clicked or not even bothered or whatever. So I can get to see just how much conversion and how much engagement I'm getting with my audience. Look, there's lots of other sections on here with regards to MailerLite, but I just wanted to show you how you can create a form, okay, like so, like this, and you can embed it onto Elementor. So I'm not saying don't use Elementor forms, use Elementor forms, but if you want to make something that is a bit more synced in with MailerLite or MailChimp's different, but same kind of concept really. I hope this helps you. Have a go with email marketing. Like, subscribe, see you soon.